Hello there. Today, a question I am so often asked. How do we stay conscious in the face of adversity? Yes, if you are today, this video is definitely for you, if you are today going through some type of adversity and you think to yourself, how do I cope? How do I stay conscious in the face of adversity? And so what I want to do in this very short video is to talk to you about two ways of coping, two ways of staying conscious. What does that mean? It means staying in a good space. It's staying in an awareness space, staying in a place that is best for you going forward, rather than getting really into the problem, getting into fear, getting into a place that's non-resourceful. And so the two things that I think I want to talk to you about today that I'm really trusting are going to help you to get through this time. And it doesn't matter whether this adversity is financial, whether this is like a problem with your job or your business, or just that your money is really, really tight, or whether this is some health issue that you have where adversity, or one of your family is not well. Adversity is can be any of those things, or maybe it's a relationship problem where you're not sure about this relationship, it's not meeting your needs, it just doesn't feel right, and it feels like you're all out of sorts in adversity. So what is the first thing that I want to share with you? Well, the first thing is for us to look at this from a realistic position. So there's a great saying that says often the way we look at things, our perception, as Tony would say, our perspective on it is the problem here. Are we making this worse? Here's what happens within us, inside of us. In our minds, this grows bigger and worse in our scenario. Our mind is racing to how bad things could get. So if this is financial, it's like, and if I don't get a job, or if my business doesn't survive this, or what will happen if, and if I have no money. I've actually coached people who are relatively safe. What does that mean? Seemingly in a job, maybe seemingly in a safe situation in their home, in their where they live, and they're actually allowing their brain to say, if all this goes well, I'll lose my home, I'll finish up. And they literally say, I do make pictures of myself, living on the street. And I kind of go, so let's look at what we're doing here. Are we making this worse than it is? Or is your pattern, is your behavior that you go, yeah, you know what? It's kind of what they call an overly optimistic. It's not realistic about the problem. It's going, something will come along. And then what that can do is it can give yourself a false sense of security, a false sense of being in a more conscious state, a better space, but it also can be really difficult for your family. So the same thing, if this is a health thing or for the relationship thing, are you making this? Are you allowing your mind to go into all sorts of fear about how bad this could get? Or are you going, it's nothing, and not listening to the signs? And so that's the second thing I want to share with you. So the first one is are you making this worse or better than it really is? We really need to look at it as in reality. Be conscious about it. Be aware of it. Be aware of where it is. But the second thing, and probably even more important, is what's the message in it? What's the gift in it? What is it that this could be telling us that we've been told, or our body, or our finances, or our relationship? Maybe we've been through this over and over again, and it's almost as if our consciousness needs to be much more aware of this as one of our patterns. So there can be a gift in it. And often I'll say to my clients, I'll say to them, have you ever been through something even remotely like this before? And so often they'll say yes. I was talking to someone this week, and they said, this is the third time I've had this situation in my life. And of course I say, well, who's the common denominator? But even more importantly, what's the gift in this? What's the message that your body or your finances or your relationship is trying to give you? Could it be the message is to slow down? Could it be that you need to have more conscious awareness of what's going on around you, what people are trying to tell you that you're not listening to? But most commonly, if you've heard what I say before, often it's the conversations we're having with ourselves that are the most dangerous. They're the ones that are not listening to our inner intuition, our inner consciousness of ourself. So there you go for today. If you're inadvertency, and I so understand what that feels like, we need to look at it realistic. We need to look at it properly, not worse than it is, not better than it is. And then what's the message in it? Let me ask you that question. What's the message? What's the gift? What's the reason why you might be finding yourself in this situation over and over again? So I'm trusting that's really, really useful. If you want to ask me any questions, this is Nicki Vee, 1010 Movement. Pop your comments or your questions in the area below, and I will get to you as soon as I possibly can. If you're new to this channel, please press the subscribe now, and hit the notification bell so that we'll let you know as soon as a new video comes out. So till next time, see you soon. Bye-bye.